Here we are doing our pre-arm wrestling video. So it's going to be a good one. Practice today at the dungeon, 10 a.m. So let's see, what time is it? It's a little before 9. So we got a little bit of time before arm wrestling. So you know what that means? We got some time for some shenanigans. Let's see. We could talk about arm wrestling, if there's any matches happening. Hey, what's up, Maxie? I'm doing good. How you doing? Just doing the old pre-arm wrestling live. She says, "How's your Saturday going?" It's going good. Um, just waiting for arm wrestling practice at 10 a.m. So we're gonna hang out a little bit before we meet up with the team. But how about yourself? How's your Saturday going, Mexi? Mexi says, "No Josh?" Question mark. So Josh is on the road right now. He actually probably is already. He is recording a tournament. I want to say in New Hampshire. It's going to be a good video. He is also doing a like a live from his point of view as a cameraman, so that should be a cool video. Yeah, what time is it? 9 something? Yeah, it's almost 9, so they're probably already there. So Mexi says gonna make some hot links and eggs, finish my coffee, and then take off for a jog around the block. That's what's up. That's a good day right there. You got some good food, and then you get the gains, get the workout gains. Mexi says that's dope. She's talking about the pretty sure she's talking about the video that Josh is doing. Maybe she's talking about practice or all the above. S, what's up, man? Mexi says here is almost 6 a.m. Yeah, that's an early one. So JT, thank you for the hit training at Sean's last week. Absolutely, man. I'm pretty sure I know who this is. I'm almost positive I know who this is. It's hard to tell from the YouTube name. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, man, that was good training at Sean's last week. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make tomorrow. Um, it's not looking good, but I'll know later on today. Carolyn, what's up? She goes, "Let's go, Nick. Happy Saturday, day of gains." Absolutely. Carolyn, how was the trip? How was the trip to the event? Pretty good. Mexi says the early bird gets the worm. That is true. JT says you are good to work with. You let us get the work in. JT is John Bailey. That's who I thought it was. I just didn't know if you want your name said, but the famous John Bailey. No, that was some good training. I definitely got into some good work. Um, I always like to say every good training partner was once a bad training partner. Um, at least from my experience, because when I first started, just for being new and not knowing, I was a very bad training partner. I would just, just kind of just smash, because that's what I thought training was, until later on I realized you can't just smash all the time. You got to train. But at Sunday, I think I got pinned more than I pinned anybody, so that's good. Football. I remember. What's up, man? Football says, feel like I recognize you. That's good. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. What else can we talk about, guys? Any arm wrestling events? Any new events happening? Any new matches? I don't have the tablet with me, so I can't look anything up. Sub Dog, what's up, man? John says, if you go 100, you or I will not get much out of the training. Well, yeah, I definitely know. I definitely understand. I definitely agree with you. I was definitely trying hard, but let's see. But more calculated, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure John knows what I mean. Mexi says, enjoy your Saturday, Nick. Gonna scruff this up and head out. Enjoy your run. It's gonna be a good one. Sup Dog says, like the stream, guys. Oh, thank you very much, Sup Dog. Definitely hit that thumbs up. Looks something like this. John says, I get flashed. You get no work. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I got flashed a couple times at practice. And if you're new to arm wrestling and you're wondering what a flash is, it's a fast pin. That's what a flash means in arm wrestling. Bird Rock, just smash that like button. Let's go. Thank you very much, Bird Rock. I appreciate that. Sup Dog says the new guy loved arm wrestling last night. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now you know what they say. If they make it back for their second practice, they're hooked for life. That's what they say. So football says plans for the weekend. So I'm not sure what the Sunday is looking like yet, but I know what today is going to look like. We're doing the pre-arm wrestling live right now, and then we're going to arm wrestle for, probably 3 to 4 hours at least. That's usually the minimum on a Saturday at the dungeon. And if you guys want to see how we arm wrestle, it's going to be live, but it's going to be for the members only. So you're going to have to become a member if you want to see how we train. Sup Dog says the new guy shows great potential. Will come once a week. That is awesome. That is awesome. Where is the potential? Does he have a big hand, a strong arm, or maybe is he a quick learner or something? I was waiting for that, Bo. I was waiting for that. Bo says, "Who flashed you, Nick?" Bo, you're gonna have to watch the practice. It's all on the live from last Sunday. Just gotta check out the old Facebook. I'm not Facebook Live, members Live. But Bo, you gonna be at practice today? I think you are. If you're already up and awake, probably had some coffee, maybe a couple cups. Bo's gonna be at practice. It's gonna be a good one. Sup Dog says Jack, 200-pound construction worker with long arms and big mitts. Oh, that's good. That's always nice to have a new teammate that's got some good potential. Bird knows what's up. He says, nice. Carolyn says, let's hit the thumbs up and share, friends. Oh, thank you very much, Carolyn. Oh, and Bo says he pulled his bicep from heavy bicep curls. Which arm? Is it the right one, the left one? Hopefully it's just a little pull and nothing too serious. Football says 200 pounds. What's that in kilograms? I don't know if anybody's got a calculator. Maybe they can do it. But what is it like? I know 221 or 220 is 100 kilograms or something like that. So was it 80 to 90 or something? Oh, something I got it right there, 95 ish. So Bo says for the first time I did 100 pounds and something popped. Well, that's good that you did 100 pounds, but that sucks that something popped. Hopefully, hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Hopefully maybe it was just an air pocket or something like that. Maybe the tendon rolled. Those would be best situations. John says got to get ready for the gym. Catch y'all later. Definitely get a good workout, John. Thanks for hanging out while you can. Football says much are you, dog? Um, talking about body weight. I weighed 320, 330 ish, if that's what you're talking about. Bo says he tweaked his left arm. All right. So today's going to be a righty day, sounds like. Oh boy. Football says a question European versus American. Who's better in arm wrestling? So that's a very tricky question. I think it depends on how you look at it. I think the weight classes vary, but since I'm the one answering the question, I'm going Team America. Oh, football's going Team Europe. Subdog says USA, USA. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Mr. Oliver says Canada. Oh, I knew that question from football was gonna get people going. But I'm on Team America. Football says LO biased. That's all right. I'm okay with being biased. That's funny. So football says Europe historically better. So I think it depends on where you look. I think it depends on which rankings you look at, because the rankings get weird. That's funny. Subdog says, "Yep, Canada has a lot of pullers, but only a few elite. But those few elite they have are very, very high up on that list. So Canada's definitely in discussion for one of the best arm wrestling countries out there. That'd be cool. Football says there should be an arm wrestling World Cup, but instead of like an actual like trophy cup, it's just in hand, doing like a cup movement. That's what the trophy should be. Maybe a globe in there, cupping the world. That's a pretty good idea for a trophy. But I wonder how we would get all the best arm wrestlers in one spot. What would bring them in for that World Cup? Sup Dog says Vegas. That'd be a good spot for it. That'd be a real good spot for it. We could finally hang out with Drew because he's over in that area. We could finally take a break from building his time machine, or not the time machine, the portal machine. Let's see. Oh, also too, I forgot to say, if any of our friends wants to hop on, I have one spot. Um, the link is in the description. But that being said, I'm only going to let people on that I personally know, on the live. So if I don't let you on, don't take any offense just because I haven't personally met you. Um, Dog says 25K per class and proper promotion would do it. I'm pretty sure that would do it. 25. Now is that left and right or just right? We're gonna need some sponsors. We're gonna need some sponsors. Uh Football says percentage wise, how hard would you need to try for Josh to beat you? 50%? Um, I'm not sure, man. That's a tricky question because I think it depends on how tired Josh is. If he's got some heavy workout in, or if I'm tired. There's lots of factors. So that being said, there's only one way to find out, and that's with a best of five. Oh, Bo's coming in. He says Europe never had any good pullers. Most of them is from Russia and Kazakhstan, and some stunts. So that's Asia. That's funny. That's funny. That's good, clean fun right there. That's a good one. Oh, football says Russian part of Europe. Hey, I'm staying out of it. This is between you two. That's funny. That's funny, Mr. Oliver. Football says Europe currently dominating now. Well, yeah, I think it depends on how you look at it. I like to look at it in terms of the super heavyweights. Levon is doing pretty. He's been pretty dominant in that super heavyweight class. He's holding a belt. Subdog says, "How would you pick pullers for a World Cup?" So that's interesting. I would think there'd have to be qualifiers or something like that. If not a qualifier, maybe you know teams would, countries, their teams would pick pullers if there wasn't a qualifier. But I would think one of those two options, either qualifiers or the country slash teams would pick the pullers. What about you, Subdog? How would you pick them? So Mr. Oliver says, if I was to pick pullers for a World Cup First, I'd make each country to have a TAWF style team. I forgot which organization that is. TAWF. Yeah, Mr. Oliver, let me know what abbreviation that means. Sazip, what's up, man? I'm doing good. How you doing? Sup Dog says I like the TAWF league idea. Then you get to hype the World Cup all year. And Sup Dog says TAWF is new. All right. I'll have to look it up 'cause I don't think I've heard of it before. Maybe I have. Mr. Oliver says it's the Team Arm Wrestling Federation. Oh, okay. So it's like the now I think we talked about it before. It's like the 5-on-5 or something like that. Oh, that's a funny one. That's a funny one, Bo. We like to call that good, clean fun. But it's weird. You'd think they would figure it out because it has those little stick figures right on the door. One's got pants and one's got a triangle that looks like, skirt or something. So Mr. Albert says it's a really cool format. So I've heard about it before, but how do they do it? How do they pick the teams? Is it like five different weight classes, or is a team allowed like a certain, you know, amount of weight per team? Like, is a team allowed to have 1,000 pounds of athlete, or is it like, you know, one athlete for each weight class? Yeah, so that's what I'm curious about. Slipdog says March 28th in Calgary. So that must be their next event. All right. Should be a good day right there. Zeeb says true, because most athletes would be around the same weight class. Yeah, I'm not sure, Zeeb. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I'm not 'cause I know about that. I've seen team arm wrestling before, but I've seen it done a couple ways. One was, five athletes, five different weight classes, and then one was, you could pick whoever you want for an athlete, but your team couldn't go over a certain amount of, you know, pounds per body weight for the team, you know. Damn, what's up, man? Futan's got the Don Fry mustache going in the profile pic. Bo says, by the way, Nick, did you guys miss me last week? Of course we missed you. It's like it was too quiet. It was too quiet in there. It was like something was missing. That's funny. But we're definitely glad to have you back. Oh, Putan's laughing. He's enjoying the mustache. I'll check that out, Mr. Oliver. I appreciate it. Hopefully, it's not a trap. No, I'm pretty sure it's from the tournament. I mean, not the tournament. The team super matches. Let's see. Who are you guys excited to see the most at practice today? We got a lot of characters in the dungeon. So Putan says monster addicted. Oh, so you must be talking about this right about here. There's a monster logo. That's the I'm at a gas station outside the dungeon. It's got better service here than at the dungeon. Um, but if Monster's watching, they owe me for the product placement. Oh, I forgot to show it. That's why YouTube hit that comment. But it looks like someone else, maybe Subdog, got it. That's funny. So Subdog says I like to see the 220 to 240 pounders, so I can rate the people in the class I'm in. That'd be good. That'd be some good data on your class. Plus, that's a competitive class right there. That's a competitive class. I feel like that class has always been a big class, but I feel like it's getting bigger now because at least from my experience, a lot of the supers are dropping down to that 242 pound class. So it's getting bigger. That's good though. More fun. Bo says Vlad texted him 2 days ago, so maybe he's coming today. That'd be awesome. That would be sweet. We'll have to wait and see, Bo. We'll have to wait and see. Sup dog says I'm down to 258, trying to hit 242. LOL. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, take your time. Well, you know what's up already. Take your time, and when you get there, it'll be a lot more maintainable. You take your time, and you'll keep more muscle. But Sup dog says tired of pulling huge dudes. LOL. That's all right. Uh, even some of those guys in lighter classes are pretty big. It's gonna be good. Let's see. Even though I didn't put I don't think I put the shenanigans in the title. I might have forgot, but it's there. So Bo says, from the years of pulling, I find out the smaller guys are more vicious than the heavyweights. Yeah, I can see that. The old Chihuahua syndrome. Oh man, if you ever had a Chihuahua, you know Chihuahuas are ruthless. Oh, so Bo says no, the heavyweights are slower, so you can really hit and get in your position. I see what you're saying. Yes, speed is important. Speed is definitely important. But a lot of these super heavyweights are getting very, very fast. Like, I mean, look at the tally, you know, 19 feet tall, you know, 300 pounds, and he's quick. But I feel you, Bo. Most supers have not been known to be fast. So, dog, I forgot what we were talking about, but I'm not sure what we're talking about with that comment. That is funny. Oh, that's what you called your violence. That's funny. I don't know if this was true or not, but it reminded me of something I saw. It was yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. It could have been true because it was in Florida, but it said some guy attacked somebody with a machete, but before he said he was gonna go get kindness or something like that. He named his machete kindness. Oh, that's what he was. He said he was gonna go kill you with kindness, but he named his machete kindness. That's what that reminds me of with your nickname. So dog says, or however you spell the small dog. LOL. Oh, he's talking about it. I get you. He's talking about Chihuahua. That's a perfect name for a Chihuahua right there. Turd Ferguson. That's a good name for a Chihuahua. That is funny. But if it makes you feel better, sup dog, I don't think I could spell it either. Well, Munchie. Looks like YouTube hid that comment. I'm not going to show it, but that's an interesting fun fact. But Munchie, since your first time joining us, if you're not aware, this is an arm wrestling channel. So maybe you got some questions about arm wrestling. So Supdog says, did you invite any new guys to the dungeon today? I did not. Um, I've new guys have since new guy Nick. That's the last new guy. Um, so it's been a while since we've had any potential new teammates. So that being said, if anyone is in the area, the Connecticut area, and wants to do some arm wrestling, you got about 30 minutes, excuse me, before practice starts. Gonna be a good one. Well, we got a the dungeon's a pretty good sized team. There's usually, 8 to 15 people, sometimes more in there. So there's a good chance that one of those guys have a buddy that they, try to drag along with. But if there is any new guys, we'll find out in the members videos today, the members live. Let's see. I got a question. This popped in my head. It's more of these shenanigans topics, but what was the vehicle that you guys drove that was the worst on gas and then the best on gas? So I used to have an old K10 that probably got like 3 miles to the gallon. I took it on the highway once, and that was the last time I ever took it on the highway. Just see the gas gauge just dropping. So let's see. Putan says, Nick, how much calories are you eating now? Are you in a surplus? I'm not sure on how many calories I'm eating. I'm definitely not losing weight, so I must be in a surplus, or if not, at least maintaining. Yeah, I don't count calories right now. I haven't counted calories in a long time. I just kind of go about how I feel and look and stuff like that. Um, but maybe one day we'll do like like a day of eating video, and we'll add up the calories of just one particular day. We'll see what it is. So Putan says, "Who you got, Todd or Petrenko?" I got Todd. Todd's winning that match. Can't. It's hard. You can't bet against Uncle Todd, man. Godzilla. Sup Dog says the worst on gas was an 80s 3/4 ton with a 4 speed, 35,000 RPM at 65 miles an hour. That's up there. That K10 I had, it was a 4 speed, but it had the granny gear in it, so it maxed out at 55. I couldn't go any faster at 55. Um, but I feel you. That is funny. Doing 65 and the truck is just screaming. That's funny. Sup Dog says the best was a Hyundai Stellar. So what's that? That's like a is that a SUV, like a small SUV, or is that a sedan? Yeah, I can't remember. I think the best car on gas is probably the Chrysler. I think it gets like 35 on the highway, so that's pretty good. So Putan says, "Do you like bikes, cruisers, bobber, any?" Um, Yeah, they're nice. They're nice. I don't really ride. Um, the last time I ridden a bike was one of Chief's. I think that was like a year or two ago. And there's a video of it somewhere on the YouTube. Riding one of his little what are they, shadows or rebels? One of the little rebels, little 250 or something like that. So Subdogs is a small sedan, super weird car, LOL, power windows, and a 5-speed manual, 5-speed but manual steering, brakes, and a manual choke, LOL. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. What year was it that had a manual choke on it? Friends, that's so funny that you say that. You strike me as a guy who owns a red 90s Trailblazer. That is really funny because I used to drive one. It was a 97, 98, and that car, that little SUV truck thing, that was also terrible on gas. Those the V6 Vortex, whatever they're called, those things were terrible on gas for a little tiny SUV thing. Lucky, what's up? All right, the show can start. We got lucky. That's what I'm talking about. Subdogs is 85, believe it or not. All right. 85 Hyundai with the manual choke. That's sweet. Since we're talking about, trucks and stuff, do you guys have a favorite truck? A favorite type of truck? So I like I'm a big fan of I can't remember when the year started, but like 93, the Dodge Rams to what was it, 88 or something, maybe 86. But the square ones, those are probably my favorite trucks. So Lucky says can't stay long at my parents' place, and mom is not doing too well. Oh, that stinks, Lucky. Definitely glad that you're hanging out for a little bit while you can, but it definitely stinks about your mom. But that being said, if she was able to raise you, she's got to be a pretty strong lady. So I think she's gonna be good. But yeah, if everyone's sending Lucky's moms good thoughts. So Subdog says I did a full lap around a disabled track in that car one time. LOL. What's a disabled track? I know it's some type of racing thing, but what's a disabled track? Lucky knows what's up. She's a Dodge Ram has always caught my eye. I feel you. I'm not a big fan of the newer ones too much. I like the you know first generation, the second generation in terms like the body style. Um, After that, they kind of lost the soul feeling. Supdog says all the best to your mom, Lucky. Absolutely, Supdog knows what's up. Bhutan, I'm not sure who that is. I don't think. Lucky says, unfortunately, ALS has no cure, so it's a hard, long goodbye, but soaking up the time together. That is awesome that you're spending the time with your mom. That is awesome. Sub Dog says it's a motocross track. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Just ripping around in the old Hyundai and the motocross track. That is sweet. Sub Dog says, yeah, lucky the long goodbye is very bittersweet. But at least, I shouldn't say at least. He's definitely not at least. At least it ends, I said it again, it ends in sweet. So there's definitely a lot of positive, a lot of good times left. So that's great. That's great. Oh, Putin says Josh is live. So he must be doing his from the Josh's eye live. So what Josh sees, that's what's up. I think I gotta check that out. But Putin, is he at he's at the tournament setting up right now? Let's see, it's 9:40, so he's gotta be, yeah, he's probably setting things up. If not, things are probably already set up already. Let's see. Any guys getting into any shenanigans lately? Any fun shenanigans? The good kind, not the bad kind. The good kind. Now I've seen this movie before, but I watched part of it yesterday. Um, Slam Salmon. It was a funny movie. Um, the guys that did Super Troopers did that movie, The Broken Lizard. So it's a funny movie, pure comedy, real comedy. So it's a good one. Have you guys ever seen that movie, Slam Salmon? Let's see. What else can we talk about? Let me know if you guys have any arm wrestling stuff, arm wrestling topics, shenanigans. Does anyone follow powerlifting at all? Has anyone seen anything about powerlifting lately? Subthug says nope, but I'll put it on the list. So it's a good movie. You got to be in the mood for, like, the stupid comedy, but it's a good comedy movie. So Subdog says, you ever jump a car, Nick? Yeah, I've jumped a car before. Even done the old pop start. Uh, that's one of the reasons why uh, the Chrysler was actually my first automatic I ever owned. That's one of the reasons why I like the manuals. Is if you have a dead battery, you just pop the clutch and get to where you're going. So Malik, what's up, man? Since you're watching Devin versus Tally next week, I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be an awesome match. I'm very excited. Now, when this match first came up, I had Tally winning 4-3, but now as it's getting closer, I have Devin winning 4-3. So I think Devin is gonna win 4-3 in an absolute grueling match. So I think it's gonna be a win-win for the fans. Unless maybe Supdog, maybe he meant you ever jump a car, Nick. Maybe he meant have I ever jumped over a car once or twice. I got a pretty good vertical jump. Oh man, that's funny. Let's see, we got about probably about 15 minutes left, something like that. So we got some more time for some more fun. But eventually we'll be heading down to the dungeon. Supdog says Devin will take the win, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you, Supdog. Yeah, I think 4-3. Because it's a championship round. It's a best of seven. Supdog says I jumped in an Oldsmobile over a bridge one time, although launched it so far and high, I ripped my muffler off when I landed. Oh, so that's what you mean by jump the car. So only two times. I'm only going to tell one story. Um, so I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but if anyone's seen that Jeep, that's it's pretty much yard art at this point. But I have a '98 Jeep Cherokee. Um, I can't remember what I was going to meet someone somewhere, and first time going there, the GPS took me through some really, you know, back roads, like just dirt roads, and I was driving. There's no lights, and all of a sudden, I didn't even see it. There was this little like wood bridge, and I hit the wood bridge, and before I knew it, the Jeep was midair, and when the Jeep hit the ground, it's everything stalled out. The Jeep shut off, and luckily it started back up because the Jeeps are pretty reliable. But yep, that was a '98 Jeep Cherokee. Oh, Subdog says, I really want to know the story you won't tell, LOL. That's for the that's for the other channel. But when we make our Canadian tour, I could tell you. I mean, it's not bad or anything. It just uh, when I was a young and dumb, or young and dumber, there's less dumb now. Uh, it's not like a good what's it called? Like a role model, not a role model. I don't want to give anybody bad ideas because I got lucky. So friend says the champ is the boss. Hope to be when I grow up. So, friends, are you saying that you want to be a champion one day? You want to be the best of the best? So that's what I think you're saying. That's a good goal right there. Oh, the movie quote. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Slam and Sam and the boss is the champ. What do you say? Whatever, motherfucker. Oh man, that was funny. Yeah, what's his name? I forgot his name. Um, but yeah, he was real funny in that movie. I think one of the funniest parts, friends. Remember the part when he's talking to the Japanese translator and he tells the Japanese something in English. The Japanese translator starts translating it, and he yells at the translator to stop translating it in Japanese because that's not what he said. He said it in English, so he made the translator say it in English to the guy that didn't speak English. It's a lot funnier in the scene, so you have to take my word for it that it was funny. What was another movie the Broken Lizard guys did? They did the was it Club Dread with they're on the island or something like that. I think that one was pretty good, but I think the other movies are a lot more funny. Super Troopers is probably the best. So, friend says I'm a big Monty Python fan. How about you guys? Um, I've seen a couple of. Didn't he do Blazing Saddles? Didn't Monty Python do Blazing Saddles? Or am I mixing that up? But I remember the movie with the rabbit, the monster rabbit, and the flesh wound. Nothing but a flesh wound. Yeah, those are good movies. But is that also Blazing Saddles, or is that something? Is that a different guy? Mr. Aubrey knows what's up. He says Blazing Saddles. LOL. Yeah, that was a good movie. That's pure comedy, real comedy. Remember the old lady? That was funny. That's all I could say. Oh, Francis different. That's Mel Brooks. Okay, all right. Yeah, I always mix them up. Wasn't there one scene? I don't remember what movie it was from, but Monty Python. I remember one scene where there was this fat guy. He must have been wealthy, and he was eating like just eating. Was it the ones with the sins? Maybe he was the gluttony guy. I remember he was eating, and then the waiter came up and he asked for a puke bucket, and the waiter held the bucket, and he decided to skip the bucket and just puke on the waiter. I'm pretty sure that's a scene from one of those movies. Oh, Francis, Holy Grail. Yep, that's one. That's definitely now I remember. That's the one with the rabbit, if I'm not mistaken. Sup Dog says I raised my daughter on Mel Brooks movie, Robin Hood Men's in Tights. I didn't know he made that movie. That's a funny movie. I used to watch that all the time as a kid. Um, yeah, it was a funny movie. That's funny. Friend says I have a big doofus I work with. When he enters the room, I yell, "Look out! Here comes Mongo." Yeah, watch out for that guy. That's funny. That is funny. Sup Dog says that's his daughter's favorite movie still. Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a great pick. Utan says Shaolin Soccer. Now, if I haven't seen that movie, I've definitely seen clips because it's the monks playing soccer. I can't remember if I've seen that movie, if it was just clips of it. Let's see, we probably got about 5 minutes left, guys. Maybe even less. Be heading over to the dungeon and get all warmed up, ready to arm wrestle. So Putan says, Nick, suggest me some movies. Um, if you haven't seen Blazing Saddles, definitely check out that. If Super Troopers, definitely check out Super Troopers. The Slam and Slamming we just talked about, that's a good one. Yeah, I'll try some of those. If you haven't tried those yet, let me know. Maybe I can think of some other ones. Mr. Oliver knows what's up. He says, best of the best. Yeah, those are good ones right there. So Putan says, do you like the old X-Men movies? I haven't watched them in a long time, but I used to really like when I was younger. I used to like the old superhero movies. So I used to I watched the X-Men movies before. Um, yeah, I mean, I haven't watched any of the new ones. I don't have any interest in the newer stuff, but the old ones were good. Back then they were just superheroes. Now I don't even know what's going on. Let's see. I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch the X-Men cartoon. Um, oh, thank you very much, Sub Dog. He says, I'll do Josh's job. Um, I see we already have 8 people in the chat and 15 likes. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Thank you very much, man. Putan says this year's big Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day coming. All right, all right. Let's So Bug says greatly helps out the channel. It definitely does. Hutan says they will re-release Avengers Endgame. All right, all right. All right, guys. On that note, we're on a high note. So I want to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We will be in the dungeon in about 15, 30 minutes. We'll have the live up, but it's going to be for members only. Well, all right, guys. We will see you very soon.